This is Chris with Godhead Gaming. I'm here with Bob. We're going to be talking about Shadows of Mordor. We did get a chance to play the game, and it's a ton of fun. It looks really deep. I didn't, only got to play for about 10 or 15 minutes, and it looks like it's got hours of gameplay. Can you talk about what we can expect from Shadows?
Yeah, high level, it's an open world, third-person action adventure sandbox. But the main thing that we're trying to bring to the genre, our big innovation, which is what we've got hands on here, is the Nemesis system. Which the way that works is every single enemy in the world, like all the grunts, the guys you think of as cannon fodder, they are all procedurally generated and are held in memory. Like, we keep them around and we let them grow a history and a relationship, and they all have this potential to level up and become a boss or a sub-boss. So the way that works is when you die, you don't just rewind and start from a checkpoint. You're resurrected and time moves forward. So those guys get to remember that event, and that's like an important thing in their lives, right? Like, they just killed this monster who's terrorizing their society. So that makes a name for them. Now you know their name and their personality, and you come back and get revenge on them. And in the meantime, if you don't, they're battling and backstabbing each other, fighting for power within Mordor. So it really makes every single enemy into this potential sort of villain character for you, your nemesis.
Great. Now, we got to play around a little bit with the assassinate mechanics and the dominate mechanics. Can you go into a little bit about how that affects? We got to see kind of the war chief and the captains I guess the details of how they serve each other. Can you go into detail about how that's all going to work?
Yeah, so at this point in the game, the demo we've got here, it's a lot deeper into the game when you've leveled up enough that you don't just have to kill your enemies. You can and harvest them for loot and runes, but you also have the ability now to dominate them and bend them to your will, make them fight for you. So the way that works is you find a captain or war chief, one of these bosses, and you basically put your brand on him. You mark his face, he becomes yours, and he'll obey your commands. And you can then send him off to murder other captains. You can send him to infiltrate a war chief's personal guard, so that when you draw him out, you've got a guy on the inside to stab him in the back. Once you take out that war chief, he'll take over as the new war chief, and you can send him to start riots with the other leaders. So it gives you a huge amount of possibilities besides just murdering everyone.
Okay, great. Now, the gameplay reminded me a lot of Assassin's Creed, just the way you went around, the way you attack the terrain, you're climbing things, you're stealthing in, you're doing assassinations. What kind of other combat aspects can we expect from the game?
Yeah, the world's very open. You can climb anywhere, go anywhere. We have a lot of deep mechanics around range, like using your bow is a big deal. So that's an important part of combat. And there's melee combat that's actually very much modeled on the starting point for us was our brethren at Rocksteady, the Arkham third-person melee combat, which we think is kind of just the most fun out there right now. And then we evolved that to our own sort of style and very lethal. And there's a lot of stabbing and decapitation. And then you can fluidly mix between stealth and range and combat at any moment. But of course, the other big factor is the sandbox, the living world around you, releasing beasts and having them come tearing in and fight, causing all kinds of chaos, setting everything on fire. So using the environment and the wildlife is another big part of combat too.
Now, I love that this is in the Lord of the Rings universe. We love that lore, and we love killing orcs, so we can't wait for this to come out. What's the release date on the game?
We're coming out on September 30th on Xbox One, PS4, PC, 360, PS3.
Great, can't wait. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.